Justin or that PlayStation nerd here, welcome back to the video and welcome back to the channel. And on this discussion, I want to talk about Gotham Knights. I know I'm a little bit late to the party about discussing about a game like Gotham Knights since it was discussed about last year, but there is a reason why I want to talk about it now. The first reason is because I will be bringing up a new video game review series called the Batman Arkham Series. So I will be reviewing Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and finally topping it off with Batman Arkham Knight. I'm not going to be talking about the other Arkham games because I haven't played those games yet, but once I do, I'll let you guys know how I feel about them. And the second reason why I want to talk about it is because I love Batman. I consider Batman as one of my favorite superheroes of all time, right next to Spider-Man. And the reason why is just I love the setting of Gotham City, along with the awesome list of villains as well. Mr. Freeze, Penguin, Joker, Two-Face, the list can just go on and on. And because of my love for Batman, I want to talk about Gotham Knights in the game itself, what I personally feel about the story so far and the gameplay features that's going to be in the game, and basically just giving out my 2 cents and seeing if it's going to be worth playing once it gets released. So with that said, let's begin the discussion. So Gotham Knights is going to be released in around 2022, which I thought my last time researching it, I thought it was going to be released in 2021. But I think they decided to delay the release date to 2022. I'm not 100% sure on that. But that is a really good thing because a lot of modern video games tend to be really glitchy and buggy because they feel like they don't have enough time developing the game because it takes a while to develop a game, especially with modern standards. You can't really make a perfect, clean, and crisp AAA video game in just 1 year. Call of Duty and WWE 2K. But, the thing is, I do appreciate that they know that it's going to take a bit of time, that it's going to take a bit of effort, so the least I can do is to appreciate that it's going to be released sometime around 2022. So I'm pretty much looking up at Wikipedia, and before you guys say anything, yes, I know it's cool to say that you still use Wikipedia. Wow, LOL, you are a massive joke, but they still provide some really good information. So one of the more interesting discussions about Gotham Knights is the developers is not Rocksteady, but WB Games Montreal. And for those who do not know, WB Games Montreal was the ones that developed Batman Arkham Origins, which I thought was a okay game, a little bit underrated, but it does fail to have its own identity, and its gameplay does feel a bit more similar to Arkham City instead of just trying out different ideas. But then again, I haven't exactly played that game in a long time, so who knows if my opinion is going to change as of now. But yeah, I'm a little bit curious and interested to see what Montreal has to offer with Gotham Knights. Hopefully, from my point of view at least, that whatever negatives they had in Arkham Origins, they could use that as basically fuel and energy to pump themselves up to release a game that's really good for the viewers and longtime Batman fans as well. I think I'm trying to overdose on caffeine for today because this is one of the few videos I'm gonna do without a script. So I really think I need to kick myself up in the arse a bit, just to get my train of thoughts across, but yeah, it's definitely working. So let's talk about some of the gameplay features. Gotham Knights is an action role-playing game set in the open world in Gotham City. The game features 4 playable characters: Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Red Hood. Each character has their own unique playstyle and abilities, such as Robin being able to teleport via the Justice League satellite. So obviously they're going to go for the idea of having a co-op video game rather than just a single-player storyline, which I kind of do like because, we're in a modern era of video games where online is such a important feature to have in a video game. So, I mean, and I'm not really sure if Gotham Knights is going to be like a side game or part of the main series, but I do think it's a neat idea to have a cooperative game system in Gotham Knights. But, you know, only time will tell if it'll actually be interesting or playable, to be exact. And yeah, and this section pretty much confirms my theory. While it can be played solo, the game also features a 2-player cooperative multiplayer mode, whenever the second player can drop in and out at any time without affecting the other one. Players can level up their characters, but enemies will automatically level up as well. They can also use the Bat Cycle to explore the city. Yeah, and I think this part I'm actually a little bit concerned on, because I was watching the gameplay footage of the demo, and what really got my attention was the enemies having a level up system, which I'm not particularly a fan of, because I know it's pretty popular to have it, but I kind of liked the original idea from the Batman Arkham games, where you can just beat enemies and then, you know, you hear a thunderous boom sound that indicates to you that, hey, the enemy has been defeated. And what's weird as well is they have a health bar, which, again, I'm not exactly too sure about that. But I guess time will tell that if the more I play the game, the more I will kind of get used to it and just be like, it doesn't really matter that whole much. So basically the settings and the story plot line of Gotham Knights is that the game is set in Gotham City after the death of Batman and Police Commissioner James Gordon, which has resulted in a rise of crime and lawlessness. So yeah, I kind of knew that the story was going to take place after the death of Batman, but I literally had no idea it was also going to take place after the death of James Gordon, which is, you can bring in a lot of interesting storytelling with that, but yeah, that's something that was out of the blue for me, because when I saw that little feature that the game's going to take place without James Gordon, the commissioner himself, it was a little bit shocking to me. Players assume the role of Batman's former proteges, Batgirl, Robin, Jason Todd, and Nightwing, you know, basically just what I've said earlier, as they attempt to continue his legacy by protecting Gotham upon receiving a pre-recorded message from Batman. During the game, the heroes encounter several supervillains, including the Court of Owls and Mr. Freeze. I'm really glad they're including the Court of Owls into the Batman universe, because it's a really interesting duo, and depending on what you do with them, you can create some really cool storytelling with them. And Mr. Freeze, you know, that's sort of expected, but what's a little bit weird for me is that when I saw the boss fight of Mr. Freeze, I do think the boss fight so far looks a little bit of a downgrade. Because I remember in Arkham City that if you wanted to beat down Mr. Freeze, you have to use different takedowns and different methods of ways how to beat him. And with each method you try, Mr. Freeze learns from his mistakes, so you can't do the same move over and over again. I thought it was pretty tense, and it came out to be a very interesting boss fight. But now when you look at Gotham Knights, you pretty much just see Mr. Freeze as this giant, brute, generic type of person with a giant freezer, blaster, or whatever the fuck you call it. I have literally no idea. Who knows if it's going to be altered or changed up in a bit, because after all, like, we've got plenty of time before the game comes out, so we're just gonna have to wait and see on that. Supporting characters includes Bruce's former butler Alfred Pennyworth and police captain Renee Montoya, one of the few honest cops left in the city, and I hope I pronounced her last name correctly, Montoya. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Someone can you guys correct me if I'm actually right or wrong? That'll be awesome. But here's a little section here that really gets me a little bit confused. Despite WB Games Montreal's previous work developing Batman Arkham Origins, and the fact that Gotham Knights features many of the same characters from the Batman Arkham series, the new game is an original story separated from those games. So it's sort of a little bit weird to me that this game is going to be completely separate from the Arkham games, even though the game is taking place after Batman's death, which was at the end of Arkham Knight. But yet, when researching it, they're pretty much saying that, oh, this is a completely new story, a new arc, a new beginning, a new adventure for the Batman video games. And yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest. What do you guys think? Do you think this is actually part of the Batman Arkham series, or do you think it's just like one of those side games that may feel like it has an impact, but not really too much? But yeah, all in all, I am interested to see what Gotham Knights has to bring to the table in the next coming months, and I am looking forward to its release in 2022 so I can be able to play it and be able to give out my initial thoughts on it. And of course, when the game comes out, I will definitely make a review on that, so stay tuned for 2022 if you're interested in that. But there is one thing I'm hoping Gotham Knights will not become, is that I'm hoping it doesn't become like Marvel Avengers. Because, I mean, if you played that game, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like, just this weird, uninteresting story, bland gameplay, and a bit of weird glitches here and there. I'm hoping it's not going to be one of those games. So, but then again, they've got plenty of time to, correct their mistakes, to look at the errors twice, and just being able to see what they can do with the best of their abilities. And whenever Gotham Knights can become a success or a massive flop, time will indeed tell. But anyway, that is going to wrap up this video. Are you excited and hyped for Gotham Knights as much as I am? Then comment down below, I guess, because I don't know, just have to plug something, I guess. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links will be down in the description box below. My name is Justin, or that PlayStation Nerd, and I thank you all for watching.